in this country, and yet it still hasn't been enough, apparently, to have the majority in the House, at least the leadership, try to work together to come to a solution. And we see some of those solutions, and I've got the bill here, 7120. Look, there's no better example than the legislation that Congressman Bobby Rush has worked on for years and years, trying to pay an appropriate tribute to a 14-year-old black young man who was kidnapped, horribly tortured, killed. And I can just read the last phrase of this section 250. The person may be in prison for not more than 10 years. So I had an amendment that I thought, should get some Democrat votes. We're not going to pass any of ours unless we have Democrat votes. But I believe the death penalty in lynching cases is totally appropriate, certainly in some of them. That's why I felt it was totally appropriate that the two people under Texas law that killed James Byrd got the death penalty. It's already been implemented. But I understood from hearing Chairman Nadler say 3 times, I believe it was, death penalty is barbarous, it's barbarous, it's barbarous. Okay, he made clear to his members, do not support the Gohmert amendment. And I'd be happy calling it the Bobby Rush amendment, because a life sentence was originally in his bill. And I offered, okay, and it was spur of the moment. I didn't have it planned. Okay, look, you're stopping the members, this is what I'm thinking, from voting for my amendment. All right, I need Democrat votes. Let's take out the death penalty and just say any term of years, including life, and stop there, not the or death. And they wouldn't even agree to that. No, it's going to stop anything that Republicans want to do. We ought to be setting the example to those who are creating a Marxist crime wave across our country, trying to destroy what we have, instead of playing partisan games in here. And I'm glad to hear in here how much the Democrats tried to reach out and work with us, because I sure didn't get that message, because we were ready, willing, and able. And it's further demonstrated in the Senate, when Tim Scott was doing everything he could to get a bill passed, and he couldn't get any support. Look, and what do you see out in the streets? You see white, spoiled adults coming up to black law enforcement officers, spitting, just chiding them, giving them all kinds of crud. The message is clear. We're white, spoiled brats, and you came off the plantation, get back. That's what Clarence Thomas said he felt like, because he was a conservative that wanted to think for himself. But those same law officers are the ones, I've seen the law officers I know run to the sound of the gun to save lives, even of people that make fun of them. How did we forget 9/11 so quickly when we saw example after example of their willingness to sacrifice? Look, this is not going to do anything. This immunity removal is going to help the law enforcement unions. They'll make a fortune like teachers' unions do selling the insurance. But it's going to keep law officers tied up in civil court instead of criminal court, and it's going to leave criminals on the street. Vote no on this bill.
Gentlemen.